Good morning and welcome to Monday. I almost said work. Welcome to Monday for many of us in the U.S. Another day off as the holiday is extending from Sunday into Monday, celebrating our Independence Day, 245 years ago, the birth of a nation. So here we are from July 4, 1776 to July 4, now the 5th, 2021. So that would be 245 years. I believe I have that right. I'm old enough to remember when we hit our bicentennial, and that was in 1976. Still in early high school or middle school. I think I was in middle school at the time. Here we are 45 years later, and I'll just say happy 4th of July to you in the States. We're going to move on, jump right into it. We're going to do a meditation on the hard sayings of Jesus, focus like a laser beam on some principles. And of course, as we're talking about the hard sayings of Jesus, it's either hard for us to understand because of context, or hard for us to hear because of its confrontive nature. He gets right to the root of things. And let's be honest, it can be painful when we get confronted with the truth. But we also know this, he always does it in love. He always does it in hope. He always does it looking towards a better future, a better tomorrow. And the number one thing, reconciling us to the Father. So we're going to do a meditation on the hard sayings of Jesus. And today we're going to move into this area. We're going to spend a couple days here, a couple uncomfortable days in dealing with the seed of adultery. Now, the law was behavior oriented. The law of Moses was behavior oriented from the first through the 9th commandment. The first 5 dealing vertically with those who give life and generate life. And this would pull in Yahweh, the creator of all that exists, and mother and father. So we have a vertical, and then we have this horizontal. And on this horizontal level, we're dealing with commandments 6 through 10, and these all deal with behavior in relationship to our earthly relationships with people around us. Now, here's an interesting thought. All of those, with the exception of the last one, simply deals with behavior, things which are physical, things which can be used in the court of law, things that you're heard saying, things that you're observed doing, where the tangible physical evidence is irrefutable in a court before 2 or 3 witnesses. Now, when you move in the 10 commandments to the 10th commandment, now you have, you shalt not covet. Only one of the 10 commandments deals with intention. So the original 10 commandments, the Decalogue, deal with behavior, and one of them deals with the intention, not coveting. It's a warning against desiring your neighbor's stuff. Now, what does Jesus do here? He goes further. He's pushing further with the spirit of the law, not the letter of the law. He's dealing with the spirit of the law and how to head things off at the pass, how to deal with things when they're small before they get large. Each of these 10 commandments, if they're broken, it has taken a lot of thought. It has taken a lot of It has taken a lot of meditation. It's taken a lot of rationalization. There's been stuff going on right here, and it started right here, and I'm pointing at my heart as a symbol of our spirit. It starts in our spirit. It then becomes part of our mind, our will, and our emotions, our soul, and then it moves into behavior. It becomes physical. So what is Jesus doing? He's dealing with the seeds of things, and we're going to see that he intensifies the law so that it's more than just behavior. So let's notice carefully what he begins to say here. Matthew 5:27. It's a hard saying, I'm going to warn you. It's a hard saying. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. They could all in the crowd look at each other and go, we've heard that all of our lives. We've seen it written down. Those that were literate could point to where it was written down. They could point to Deuteronomy and Exodus in the scrolls where that word appeared. He says, but I tell you. Now notice that, again, he's taking authority unto himself. He is trumping all other voices of commentary. Now there's a reason we can see behind the scenes here if we want to look at the book of John. He talks about no man has seen God except for the one and only. So this eclipses Moses and his interrelationship with Yahweh and puts Jesus in an exclusive area. He has come to show us the Father. He knows the Father so well that he's going to come and make him known. So the only trusted commentary on the Father is the Son. You shall not commit adultery is what was said, but I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Wow. For the first time ever, he's declaring something that is intense. All of the men in the crowd had to have thought, we're all dead. We're all worthy of death. We're all worthy. We're sunk. We've been camping on the idea that it could not surface in actual behavior with that person. That was a clear, bright line of the law. But now this Jesus of Nazareth is telling us that if we even look at a woman lustfully, we've already committed adultery with her in our heart. Every man in the crowd, including all of the disciples, had to go, whoa. We have avoided technical adultery. We have avoided divorce. Jesus dealt with that idea. But now he's zoning in on this. He's going down into the heart of the matter. Every man in the crowd had to be saying, we're sunk, because then we are already guilty of adultery. In the context of their thinking in the law, they would easily at this point could fall into condemnation. And how does condemnation work? Condemnation works by saying, you're already guilty before God, so you may as well bring it into existence as a physical act. That's what condemnation sounds like. But we need to go deeper and think deeper, and we need to listen more closely to what's going on here. Jesus is opening this can of worms. Yes, he's gone there. And he is declaring the problem and where it lies. And where the problem lies is in the heart. because he uses a word here, lustfully. Now, anybody can look, a man can look at a woman and not look lustfully. It can also happen that a man looks and then he goes there in his thinking and in his meditation. And that would change everything. It's one thing to notice. It's another thing to dwell upon. And so we're beginning to open up this idea of looking lustfully. What does that mean? Looking at with selfish aims and goals in mind, with personal and soul pleasure, not with the noble idea of marriage, of lifetime commitment, of ups and downs and going through challenges, being somebody that they are compatible with. If we abandon all of those thoughts and simply make it a matter of the most animalistic functions, it's a good bet we've moved into the area of lustfully looking at a woman. Jesus begins to open up this can of worms. It has to do with the motive in the heart. What's going on in the heart? And if it's risen to the level of that sort of selfishness and what is termed lust, this is a problem. There should be warning bells and sirens warning us to get things right. So, as we walk into this week, having just celebrated freedom, we have a warning to be careful how we look. Be careful how we associate what we look at and how we feel about it, how our will is set towards it, and how that begins to be calculated within us. It all starts within the heart. Well, that may not be a real happy thought for this day, but we have a challenge set before us to consider and at least ask the question, what's going on in my heart? And how is it linked to the way that I see things and my perspective? And the challenge as we do that is to remember, rather than sinking into condemnation and feeling like all is lost, that there is actually a hopeful side to this. That there can be transformation and change, and the kingdom of heaven can rule even in that part of our heart. So Lord bless you. Grace and peace upon you as you enjoy your day. We're going to continue this subject for the next day or two, and we'll see you then. Lord bless you.